Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Josh, and this video is for midterm report for my science experiment. Um, I'm not whispering right now. It's just that I've lost my voice. I was trying to kind of figure out if I could get it back, but I'd rather get credit for my assignment. So, um, my report, the experiment that I did was the effect of different food groups on my body over the course of about 3 weeks. Um, I did this by separating different food groups. So like having a higher percentage of a certain food group 1 week as opposed to another food group the next week. And when I mean food groups, I don't mean like fruits and vegetables. I mean like carbohydrates, proteins, and fiber. So I separated into protein, fiber, carbohydrates. Did this over the course of 3 weeks and just tested how um, having a higher percentage of these things, the effect that it would have on various parts of my overall health, such as sleep schedule, my overall appetite, energy level, any like progression made in terms of strength, and my stamina level. Um, and basically, I've sort of done this throughout my life in playing sports and whatnot. There's weeks where you have more of a certain food group or whatever, or they tell you to bulk up, or they tell you to cut weight, stuff like that. So I've kind of done it in different ways before, but I was never really consistent day to day, having the same meal or doing the exact same exercise on a day to day basis where I could track the exact effects of these certain things. So I thought it was an interesting idea to do, and so I'll kind of just get right into it. Um, I have a PowerPoint here in front of me, so I kind of did almost like a food journal kind of thing. Um, Recently, I've been training. I've always had a goal to run a marathon before I became 23, and so I'm 21 now, but I've already ran a 5K, ran a 10K, and so I mean I know a marathon is not exactly the next thing you do, but I'm kind of training for that right now, and just to be overall more healthy in general. So I recently started a thing called meal prep, where basically you start like on every Sunday, you prepare your meals for the week. And so you'll have, a consistent lunch or dinner or whatever. And you can kind of do that. People usually do that to, make sure that they're hitting certain macros and micros and make sure they're fulfilling all of their, necessary nutrition and whatnot. And so I had started meal prepping myself, which made this project a lot easier because all I had to kind of do was um, buy all the ingredients for a certain week, and then for protein week or fiber week or carbohydrate week, I would just buy carbohydrates or buy fiber, blah blah blah. But I'll go with my PowerPoint here now. So for the first week, um, well, I guess I'll start with the slide kind of describing like strength and sleep and stamina and the importance of these things. So I tracked strength through through how much weight I could lift in the gym, and if I increased reps during my sets at the gym. And so I have a gym schedule. I go to the gym Monday through Friday, and I have a schedule where each day of the week I focus on a different muscle group. And so basically, I tested the effects of, you know, if I could increase more weight than the following day or the following week, or I have pretty much a number that I'm comfortable with in terms of lifting. For example, like a bench press or something like that, I can lift 210 normally, and I can do like about 30 reps in 2 sets or whatever. And so I kind of tested how that would be affected with different food groups. So let me get into it. So um, week one was protein week, and so protein things that are food that is pretty much high in protein is like beans, um, various meats like steak and whatnot. Fish and shrimp are also, well, seafood is also high in protein. Turkey, like I said, beef, chicken, things like that. So for me personally, my diet for this week primarily consisted of a combination of chili, roasted chicken, and roasted turkey. And so I conducted the experiments for this week from February 13th to February 17th. Um, and so I have the results on a slide here, which I guess I'll post somewhere in the discussion or whatever. Um, Basically, on Monday, I had yogurt, chili, salmon. Tuesday, peanut butter, chili, turkey. Wednesday, yogurt, chili, more chili, and spinach. Chili, spaghetti, yogurt, chili, spaghetti, spinach, and so that was pretty much the continuation for that week. There's a lot more information here on these slides. So I have like the grams of protein each thing had. But overall, what I can say, like um, for this week, I found that my strength increased a lot, which I kind of expected because with more protein, I guess it's you feel stronger. I mean, when you consume a lot of protein, you feel stronger, and so it's like for me, I felt as though and I also noticed it. I also tracked it. You know that when I was focusing on like upper body groups, I was able to lift higher weight and do a lot more reps. Um, because of the protein. I can only think it's because of the protein because nothing else had changed. My sleep schedule is the same amount of hours, everything like that. But my diet was, primarily protein, and so I found that my strength level was increased. Appetite wise, I kind of found that it was a mixture. There were certain days like Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, it was pretty much lower. And I think that a big reason for that was because protein is sort of heavy. I mean, when you eat a lot of meat, it's sort of heavy. I don't really eat beef outside of this experiment and in my normal life. But I think it makes you feel kind of heavy and like bloated and whatnot. So that's how I was feeling. And I found that like later in the day I didn't have much of an appetite, but I had to kind of fulfill um, then well I set like a requirement of how many grams of protein that I needed to have for a specific day of protein, just to kind of make it actually an increased percentage of protein compared to other weeks. You know, um, Stamina, I would say that initially it was decreased, but then later in the week it was much more increased. I played basketball on Wednesday and Thursdays, and I found that my stamina in between games was a little better than it typically is. My energy level kind of varied. It was for the most part lower. Sleep schedule didn't really change at all. I didn't really do anything to my sleep schedule. The next week was fiber, and honestly, that was like a really hard week for me because there's like lots you can do with fiber, but like all of the meals are really crappy if I say so myself. But it was like for fiber, you have to have things that are refined or they're non-processed plant foods. So it's things beans and then like brown rice or whole wheat bread, like grains, things like that. As as non-processed as you can get, that you're going to get the most fiber from those things. So for me, since I didn't want to make it hard for myself, I just ended up having a lot of fiber one bars, and then I also had some other things like chicken Marrakesh, which is delicious, grilled chicken and red pepper wraps, and I also had some chicken vindaloo. And those were relatively, I mean, they weren't the highest fiber thing I could have. Like, if I really wanted to go higher, I could have like a salad with a bunch of like chickpeas in it and stuff like that. But I just, wasn't trying to have that all week long. Um, for me, and what I kind of expected is, well, fiber is pretty much, it's like, it's heavy. It's supposed to make you, a lot of people go on fiber diets because the purpose of a fiber diet is to sort of lower your appetite because fiber is fulfilling. It's like barley and all that, and it's just very fulfilling. And so I found that to be true as I was eating fiber all week. That suddenly I didn't want to eat anything else. Like I would have breakfast. I would have a fiber one bar in the morning, and I'm not really a big breakfast person, but I would have a fiber one bar in the morning and then a fiber meal at lunch. And I wouldn't want dinner. I wouldn't be hungry when I got home from school or from the gym or whatever. So I found that my appetite was lower than normal throughout the week. It was only higher on like the first day, and I think because switching from protein to fiber it's a pretty big switch, and so it's a different kind of sensation. They're both kind of fulfilling, or they're filling in a way, but it's a different sensation, and like you quickly miss that protein, like when you just were having it the entire week. Um, Strength wise, I would say that for the most part it was about normal. I didn't feel a giant increase in strength. If anything, it was maybe about one day where I did a rep or two higher than normal. Stamina, however, I found was like it was pretty increased. I would say stamina wise, I felt as though I had more energy, and I guess you can kind of put this in the energy level thing too. Stamina and energy level, I felt were both increased, and I'm not sure. It was kind of weird because I felt I felt filled, but I didn't feel bloated, and I think that's a very big distinction because you don't ever want to be bloated, going to the gym or going to work out because that's how you cramp up and stuff like that. And then, being bloated is not a fun sensation in general. But I felt filled, I felt fulfilled without feeling as though I ate too much. But realistically, even though I was like reaching my fiber goals, I also have like a fitness app, like a count calories and track calories and everything like that with my meal prepping and stuff. Even though I was meeting my fiber goals for the week, I found that I was not meeting anywhere close to the calorie amounts that I was supposed to be reaching. Like it was almost as though I was malnourished for that week, but I didn't feel it because it's very fulfilling. Having a lot of fiber is very fulfilling. Um, but for this week, food wise, oh, I already said, yeah, chicken Marrakesh, chicken, grilled chicken, red pepper, blah, blah, blah. And again, sleep schedule didn't really change that much. I guess I was a little well rested in the middle of the week, but I don't know if that was the fiber or if it was the effect the fiber had on my workout or whatever. But I would say like maybe Tuesday and Wednesday I was a little bit more well rested. But other than that, it wasn't really that changed. I didn't feel much of a change um, for these first 2 weeks. The third week, however, was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. I can't even. I don't know any other word. It was ridiculously bad. Carbohydrate week was week 3, and this was from February 27th to March 3rd, and so that was our spring break and everything like that. So it was really a bad time to kind of do it because my activity was generally lower because I wasn't at school, walking to class and whatnot. Um, but carbohydrates are things that are high in carbs, obviously. And carbs aren't good for you, for the most part, because they just turn into fat. It's literally just turning into fat. Your body breaks down some of it, but the excess just turns into fat. Um, I mean, of course, depending on what carbs you're consuming and how much it is, but you kind of want to stay away from a high carb diet unless you're running a marathon or something like that, where your body needs to continuously break down fat for energy. If you don't need energy, then your body's not going to break down any fat that you have stored, and then it just becomes fat that you have stored forever. Well, not forever, but until you lose it. But for this week, I pretty much just went off the wagon of all fitness at all, and basically ate like spaghetti. I try to be a little healthier with brown rice. That's what I always eat. Some potatoes, and then I had lots and lots and lots of pizza, and it was very terrible decision making. Um, so for this week, every single day, or yeah, I think every single day except for maybe Friday or so, I had Frosted Flakes for breakfast. I woke up, at like 11 a.m. Had a bowl of Frosted Flakes. Began my carbs for the day, and that's like 28 grams. I think I have here. Yeah, 28 grams. For lunch, a couple hours later, I was spaghetti and some like bacon in it and whatnot. Um, and then for dinner, I would have meatloaf, which isn't like a high carb thing, but there's also a lot of breadcrumbs in it. So the way I make it, at least, breadcrumbs and mashed potatoes. So my carbs were way, way, way up there. Um, and the feeling from that, I mean, let me just finish what else I had this week. Also, Wednesday through Friday, I had lots and lots and lots of pizza. And so um, the feeling from that, I haven't finished this slide here, but I can just pretty much tell you how I felt from it. Um, I had pretty much a decreased appetite every single day. And the reason for that is because the bloating is terrible. And I mean, in the same way that you have fiber, it's fulfilling. And what I was just talking about, fulfilling versus bloating, this is bloating. And bloating is the same, it's almost the same kind of sensation where you don't want to eat anymore, but it's like you don't want to eat anymore because it hurts. Like, because you feel like as if you eat anything more, you'll explode. And so you don't want to walk. Every time you walk around it, like you feel everything you just ate, and it's not being transformed into energy. Unless you're immediately going out and running, marathons. As soon as you eat these things, then you're just going to be bloated. And I quickly found that out, and I kind of had to increase my activity level after the first day of starting this carb diet because you just feel like so big. You just feel like so unhealthy just eating straight bread and stuff like that all week long. Um, so for me, like I kind of countered that by increasing my activity level. And like Tuesday through Friday, I played basketball at school for like 5 hours and just would run back and forth just to make to kind of force my body into burning this um, food that I ate, and using it for energy. Um, Strength wise, I didn't notice much of a difference, although at the same time, um, I didn't really utilize strength that much that week, and so that is kind of a messed up variable there. Um, but primarily, I focused on cardio that week because, like I said, I had to really counter the bloating, and so like I really wanted to put all of my focus into getting rid of that instead of lifting weights and everything like that. And also spring break, the hours were different and everything. Um, so I didn't really lift as much that week. I just did like push-ups and a lot of like self, home workouts and things like that. Um, Energy level. Another thing with eating a lot of carbs is that you get tired. You get what people call the itis or the siesta or whatever. But you get tired and bloated, which is a terrible combination because if you're already bloated and now you get tired, as I said before, unless your body is using that food that you just ate for energy, then it automatically turns into fat. And so if you get tired and you go to sleep, your body's shutting down and it's even slower than, your normal activity levels. And so you're kind of just accelerating fat onto your body. So energy level for the pretty much the entire week was lower, and I really, really had to fight that because every single time, you ate, I would eat this big thing of spaghetti or I would have some pizza or whatever. Um, you feel this heaviness on you. You feel like everything you just ate, and you get this bloatedness, and all of a sudden now you want to sit down, right? But you know what's gonna happen when you sit down because it's gonna feel so comfortable that you sit down that your body's gonna be like, oh, I feel so good now, I can just kind of sit here and rest, and it'll kind of it's almost like pressuring you. It's almost like brainwashing you. Your own brain is telling you to like just lay down, just let yourself be overtaken by this fat that you just put into your body. And so I had to kind of fight that, but my energy level was lower the entire week. Stamina wise, though, when I did go to play basketball and I was playing in these games, I found that my stamina level was higher than normal. At first, it would suck, like every single day, like every single, like when I would start initially playing for maybe the first 20 minutes or so, it would be terrible because I would still feel it. But after, I don't know, you kind of break a sweat and whatnot, and your body gets into the flow of like, using the stuff that you ate for energy and everything like that. I felt great. I felt as though it's almost like, I don't know how to explain it. It's almost like a fresh shower. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's like you kind of have to like break through a wall. Like you have to like shed your skin, and then you just come out and you feel really good, and like you have all of this energy now and everything like that. So like what I was saying with energy level being decreased, it was, but when I was actually using it, which I would now put into like the strength and stamina category, it was higher than normal because it was additional energy, and carbs are part of every single living thing in the world. It's what our body uses for energy. It's like it's its life source. So pretty much you're giving yourself energy. But I read online and I thought it was like a good comparison. Carbs are kind of like gasoline for a car, right? And so you can fill up your car as much as you want with as much gasoline as you want, and it will always be used, right? If you had a seemingly endless tank, and humans are seemingly endless things, I mean, because we can expand our bodies and everything like that until you blow up or whatever. But if you had a seemingly endless tank, then your car would just continue using as much gasoline as you put in, and that's the same thing your body will do. It's the only thing is that like a car, or if like that gas tank, um, if you drove that car around, you would feel the weight of all that extra gasoline. It would just kind of sit in the tank, and you would feel the weight of all that extra gasoline just on you, and so that would bring your car down, and you would have a heavier car. And it's the same thing with your body. If you have all these carbs inside of you, then you're gonna feel the weight of that, and you're gonna be a heavier person. You know. Um, but um, that's pretty much it. I mean, some final thoughts I would say on the experiment. It was interesting. It was very interesting. And although I probably wouldn't subject myself to it again, and maybe I would study somebody else, but um, it was very like the transitional periods between switching these diets, and even right now that I'm going back. I mean, it's only been a day back, but like even right now, I feel weird because my body is now craving carbs again, and that absolutely sucks. But I'm not gonna eat any carbs. I feel like I'm not gonna eat a single carb this week. Um, but it was a very interesting experiment, and I felt as though you know it's interesting to see just the effect of food, like, and how it affects your body, because we have so many different combinations of food on a day-to-day basis. And a lot of people don't really, people count calories, but very few people like will go into like their macros in these like fitness apps and look at the exact amount of grams and the exact percentage of various substances that are going into your body. And I mean, everything is good in moderation, but as soon as you have more than moderation, as soon as you become a glutton or anything like that, then you're going to start feeling the effects of it. But it's interesting how different food groups will have different differing effects on things such as strength, and just your ability to do certain things, and then your overall energy level. That was the most interesting part, was just energy level, like just witnessing how my level would change solely based on what I ate, not even what I did, because I did the same thing every single week, but it was just what I ate. It makes you think that if you eat all the right things, like, and I'm sure there are people out there who are eating all the right things, all natural things and everything like that. But it just makes you think that if you ate all those, the right things all the time, then like you could do anything. Like your energy level would be out the roof, and you could just run, 15 marathons and lift trees and everything. So it was really interesting, and like I said, I wouldn't do it again, but I had a fun time doing it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna see if there's a way where I can post up these slides, because that's also what I've been doing for like the last 2 hours, making a PowerPoint, just with all my records, putting it into one solid place. If I can upload these slides somewhere, then I'll certainly do that, and the rest of the information's on there. Hope you guys had a good spring break, and I'll see you next time on our discussion board. Thank you.